Hi, I am Colby Sharp. I'm a fifth grade teacher in Michigan, and I'm about to start reading a book that I have been looking forward to reading for so long. And you probably know what that's like when the book you have been waiting for arrives. And it's just this feeling of excitement and nervousness, and all of these different things are going through your mind. I fell in love with The One and Only Ivan when it was published a handful of years ago. It was a book that touched my heart. It was a book that I read aloud to kids, and I just saw the power that this story had on so many young readers, and just how this is one of the books that I'm sure hundreds of thousands of kids will remember for the rest of their lives, and that is truly, truly special. The Ape at Exit 8, and just this amazing book has touched so many lives. And when Katherine Applegate announced earlier this year that there was going to, or at the end of last year, that there was going to be another book, The One and Only Bob, I just got so excited, but I also got very nervous and I got anxious, and I was feeling all of these different things. And you probably know what that's like when an author you love is coming out with a new book, especially in a series and with characters, and with the ending is so perfect as The One and Only Ivan had. And I was feeling nervous, and I am feeling nervous. Like, what if I don't like Bob as much? What if I don't want this book in my heart? What if I just wanted it to end there? Maybe I don't even read this book. And then I was like, well, I can't do that. And like, can Katherine Applegate pull this off? Can she take a character that so many kids love and so many kids have fallen in love with? Like, can she really bring us back to those characters and do it justice? And then I'm like, am I really doubting Newbery medalist Katherine Applegate, who has just hit home run after home run since Ivan with Wishtree and Crenshaw and Endlings? Like, I trust her, and I'm excited, and this book doesn't need to be The One and Only Ivan. This book needs to be The One and Only Bob. And just how lucky are we that we get a chance to go back to these characters. And you can see Ruby and Ivan on the cover there with Bob. And I am just so excited to get a chance to revisit Bob. We got a lot of his story in the first book, and I'm just so excited. And I'm not going to let the nervousness take over. That's just silly and ridiculous. Like, I'm just going to enjoy the story. I'm sure it's going to be unforgettable. I'm sure it's going to be magical, and I just cannot wait. And trying to think of, like, what's the best way to read this book? Like, do I just power through it the day I get it and read the whole thing? Do I save it for the weekend? We have a 4-day weekend coming up where I can just savor it. And I just kept thinking, like, what's the best way to read it? And I want to experience this with my students. Almost all of them have read The One and Only Ivan. It was read aloud to them in 3rd grade. The ones that weren't here at that school, almost all of them have read it since then. And I just want to experience it with them. So beginning very soon, I'm going to be reading The One and Only Bob aloud to my students. I'm going to experience it with them for the first time. Each year I try to pick one of my read-alouds that I have never read. So I think Katherine Applegate's The One and Only Bob is going to be the perfect selection. I am dying to read it. I came up with that decision when I was telling my students about it and that I got it, and they're like, why don't you just read it aloud to us? And like always, just listening to your students is usually the right thing to do. So thankful for my students, thankful that we're going to get a chance to experience this book together. I cannot wait to revisit this world, revisit these characters, to spend more time in Katherine Applegate's world. It's going to be amazing. I've kind of leafed through it a little bit, and there's some things I think that readers are going to be really excited to see. I'm not in a position or feel like the need to say any of those things. I hope that you get a chance to open it up and experience it yourselves and get a chance to be lost in another beautiful story. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an awesome-tastic day. I look forward to sharing more with you soon. Happy reading.